Yeah, good morning. We are doing the Bhagavad Gita. We had last time completed chapter 4. We are doing now chapter 5. Now, chapter 5 is a comparison between the two yogas. One is the knowledge part, and the second one is the work related. That means Karma Yoga on one side and Sankhya Yoga on the other side. So, there is a discrepancy there which Arjuna has felt. And so we are doing this chapter where Krishna is going to talk about what is it that both these yogas speak. We are doing chapter 5 of the Bhagavad Gita. We are starting at verse 2. We had done verse 1 where Krishna was asked the question that Arjuna was very muddled and he did not know which yoga to follow. So verse 2 says, Sri Bhagwan said, the yoga of knowledge and the yoga of action both lead to supreme bliss. Of the two, however, the yoga of action, being easier to practice, is superior to the yoga of knowledge. So, Krishna is giving an explanation to Arjuna, where the first yoga that was mentioned was the Sankhya Yoga, connected to knowledge base, and the other one was Karma Yoga, which is action orientation. So he says both these yogas are leading to the same place. Now, when we talk of going to the same place, there is always an easier path and there is always a difficult path. I hope you know that. If I have to go from one place to the other, there is always the easiest that I can take, which is the simplest and the easiest could be. And then there will be a tedious path. The path doesn't go straight, it goes via certain other destinations. So the answer is, though both the paths are leading to the same destination, but there is a small difference. The difference is, of the two, however, the yoga of action, being easier to practice, is superior to the yoga of knowledge. Now, this is a comparison between two yogas only. Remember that there is no third yoga being mentioned over here. All right. So, only two paths were mentioned. The first one was the path of knowledge, and the second one is the path of action. Which is better? For today's day and age, when Krishna was in the battlefield, the yuga that was going on was the third yuga, which is called the Dwapar Yuga. In the fourth yuga, which is our yuga, it is called the Kali Yuga. As you know, man becomes specialized in the knowledge, but a dumb cluck, whereas every other knowledge is concerned, especially spiritual knowledge. Spiritual knowledge is the most difficult knowledge for the man of today. He doesn't understand a damn thing about it. The reason being, he becomes very specialized in his world. He is focused on to the material worldly actions which are happening over there, and he gets attached to those, and then he thinks that this is the knowledge I wish to acquire. Take the case of people, those who are from the 60s or the 70s. What were people from 60s and 70s, or maybe 50s, 60s, 70s, what did they think of? You ask the parents and you ask the children at that time, they will say, I want to be in a government job. I want to be in a bank. I want to be secure. I want to be safe. I don't want to get into those jobs where there is no future. Now, as far as 60s, 70s, even 80s is concerned, secure jobs were very important. And if you took up a private job, that means a private enterprise, the parents would definitely say, the company can close down any moment. And it was consumerism that time, if you remember. The 80s, 90s was a very, very big consumer boom happened in the world. A lot of new stuff came into the picture. And so the next job was to be in marketing, advertising, sales, public relations. Everybody thought instead of doing those jobs, the drudgery kind of jobs, working for a bank or a government, I would rather have something very, flowery kind of a stuff. So let me go and join those kind of jobs. So people went and took up that. Can you see how narrow minded this view was? Because depending on the circumstances, a man was changing. And then, when there was a boom time which came into the picture somewhere at the end of the 90s and the new millennia, a new decision, a new sunshine came in the life of people, and that was computers. Everything was computerized. You see, even your accounting, you see, 60s, 70s, 80s was calculator. So people will do calculation with calculators. Before that, there were those, machines which would do the big ones. I still remember my company, the company that I joined, they had a division which was so famous at that time because they had the manual things. So you crank up the machine and you punch some figures and then it gives you the answer. It was called a Bradma. And that company was known for it. Later on, the small tiny calculators came into the picture. And after that, machines. You see, right from the big machines, which are computers, your laptops came much later. I am talking about the desktops, supercomputers, desktops. And after that came the laptops. And of course, we had different yuga also over there. From a pager, we came up to a cell phone. And from a cell phone, we came up to smartphones. And now we have super smartphones and smart watches and whatnot. So, did you see the whole change? So, what happened during the 90s and 2000? Everybody wanted to be in the IT industry. The whole world said IT, 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 IT. Okay? And then when the cell phones came in, I want to be with telecommunications. I want to be with this company. Okay, that also happened. Did you see how specialized we were in our knowledge? And if you ask an IT person a simple question, I'm not joking. Ask him a simple and the stupidest question, and he will not be able to answer you. Why? The more specialized a knowledge is, the less he knows about the world. This is the truth. Now tell me, when a person is cramming so much of computers, 24/7, where does he have time for the common knowledge? So common sense is not common, number one. And number two, spiritual knowledge. Aha. Spiritual knowledge is beyond their means. It is nowhere in sight. So spiritual knowledge was packaged into a marketing commodity and dished out to everyone. So it came in the form of different classes. Yoga, pranayama, all kinds of package deals were given to people. And everybody was so happy because, yes, of course, I can do IT and then I can do yoga and pranayama. Sit and with everybody, looking so beautiful and gorgeous with their nice bodies around, it's very nice to do that. This is called spirituality according to the current tradition. Krishna is not talking of any of these. So did you understand how a person who is supposed to be such an intelligent person is the biggest idiot in the world? Okay. Somebody who wrote a book, I don't remember his name. He says, first I got an engineering degree. Then I did an MBA. After that, I went and joined a bank. Wow. Doesn't that tell you something? And that was the story of one of the companies, one of these very super hit films. You do engineering for so many years. Think about it. You spend your parents' money, literally, you squeeze them dry, sending them to some fancy college. You write the CET, you write this, you write that examination, and you become a great engineer. Okay? After that, I want a good job, so I will do an MBA. And then you go and spend a bomb on MBA. See, there are schools in India and abroad who give out these degrees in MBA. And their admission fee itself will give you a heart attack. So you borrow money and then you join what? A bank. Why? Banking is a great industry. Look at where that person is thinking, from which point. Is he really thinking from top or from below? I mean, just ask yourself this. So what happened to the knowledge? This is mundane knowledge. Common sense will tell you, don't do any of these courses. Don't even go to college. Why? Because you want to become a clerk in an organization. You see, when they talk of an IT company, I'm telling you, this is a very funny thing. When they talk of IT company, you may be just a plain matriculate, or what you call it, a SSC pass. Okay, do a 6 months course on writing those programs. Or maybe you have learnt it in school only. It's simple. And just go to the YouTube. Okay, download one of those apps or something like that. Or maybe, do those kind of classes that are there on YouTube free. Sometimes they are very free. Do those. And you will become a genius in computers. So why did you spend for the degree, then the post graduation, and gave so much, spend so much money just trying to be a basic clerk in an organization? I mean, don't you think it is the worst position to be in when you join in some company and you think that, oh, I'm working for the big companies. This is called knowledge according to today's day and age. Krishna is telling you, you are the biggest duffer in the world. Okay? Because if you think that is knowledge, then you're completely off your senses. Because spiritual knowledge is way far ahead. It's beyond the horizon only. Because you are lost in the mundane knowledge, for which it's like this. Somebody who is not much educated, and I tell them, why don't you do some simple course in some ITI or some of these institutes? Go there for 6 months, do that course, you will become great. The plumber is earning more than anybody else, I think, isn't it? The plumber, the mason, I think they are earning more than anybody else. And today everybody's job is in jeopardy. Think about it. Everybody, all these great goons who are there in all the big IT companies and technology companies and all, their jobs are not there at all. Whereas you need a plumber at home, you need an electrician at home, isn't it? I think it is better to become an electrician. And this is the common sense which people have today. So did you get the point? Today man has absolutely zero common sense. So his basic knowledge, that is his specialized big degree knowledge. And after that, no common sense. And when he tries to get a little common sense, spiritual knowledge is beyond his ken and understanding. So what he does, like a herd mentality. You know what a herd mentality is? Everybody is joining these classes, so I will also join this class. What class is that? Yoga class. I'm joining yoga class. For what? Want to have a good body. Sir, you are not joining yoga class to have a good body. You're going to look for bodies over there. You're shopping, body shopping we call it. Body shopping in the industry is different. This body shopping is different. I hope you got the answer. So there is nothing that a person does. He just wastes his time joining classes like this. This was a question which somebody, was asking me, what is spirituality? Do you know what spirituality is? Spirituality has everything to do with the spirit. Where is spirit concerned over here? If you're going to think about your body, body is like a car. Body is like a car or like a train or like a plane. Yeah. And once you reach your destination, do you carry the plane in your pocket and go with you? No, no. The plane's job is over. The train's job is over. The taxi's job is over. The car's job is over. Yeah, you need a good aeroplane. Yes. Don't fly 380s. Maybe you should fly 737s or A320. Old planes are good now. So you fly those planes and then you are happy. You reached your destination. You are not bothered. Oh, it was like this on the flight. Nobody is bothered about it nowadays. I reached my destination safe and sound without catching coronavirus. That is all he is interested in. And that's it. But what are we talking about? We are talking about the spirit. Spirit can never be reached if you do this kind of body exercises. Let me assure you this much. If that was a technology to be used, don't you think all the rest of the people in the world would have used that? I mean, think about it. Jesus would be the first person to teach you. Take a deep breath. Let the breath go very smoothly. Okay. After that, I mean, where was Jesus concerned with breath control, this, that? You will say he got hanged over there. Okay, no. I mean, he got went on the cross. The person, Jesus, Son of God, gave the greatest religion in the world. Yeah. None of these people practice any of these things. Everything that a person talks about is connected to the body or to the prana. You understand prana? Pranayama. Prana is connected to your body only. If you are thinking mind control, which is done by means of pranayama, I'm going to control my mind. Mind is also a part of the subtle body. So this is not called spirituality. Spirituality is knowledge of the spirit. Spirit is the day you understand, the day a person understands that they are only supposed to bother about liberation, getting out of this cycle of rebirth. This is the thing that a person should know. I don't want to be born again. Target is this. I want liberation. I want to know the absolute truth. Okay? And then I want to meet God. If these are the things that you are bothered about, then you are truly in spiritual. If you are bothered about, I want to have a nice body, I want to have a good breath control, is the same people who do pranayama and meditation and all that can't even climb up, 100 staircases, 100 steps. They get tired. Oh, sir, you are used to yoga, isn't it? You should be climbing Mount Everest. Go. They don't have the stamina and the energy also. Okay, so one more knowledge if you want. Okay. Today morning we were discussing about water that is sold in the marketplace. And they put 10 bottles in front of them and they put one indicator. Basically an indicator which tells you the level of acids and bases in that. Naturally, we need to have slightly more basic, slightly basic water. Why? We have too many acids in our stomach. If you are going to drink water from the river or the well directly, it doesn't have that much of base in it. Okay? So all these companies, what they do, they put a little basic things in it, in the water. So that you have one, whatever, you should not have those problems with goiter and other things, they will put something in it. They keep on doing all that. The idea is that water has to be slightly basic, slightly, very tiny, tiny drop of it, basic. Otherwise, people who do a lot of upvas, fasting, they call it fasting. I did this fasting, that fasting, that fasting. I don't eat. I eat only one meal a day, 2 meals a day. Unless and until you are some great yogi staying in the Himalayas, don't try even these stunts. Because tomorrow, you will end up having all kinds of cancers and all kinds of problems in your body. Okay? Especially your alimentary canal. It will have ailments in it. I made a joke. Okay? Alimentary canal is the food canal. The food canal, this call it. It contains even your stomach and your intestines, right from your mouth to your anus is that. Alright? You know how many diseases are going to come from your mouth to that place? Too many. Eat normal meals. Eat average good meals. If God wanted you to eat the green leafy vegetables, He would have given you a gizzard also. You know what a gizzard is? Gizzard is the second stomach of all the cattles. All these animals, no? They have two stomachs. Have you seen a cow? It eats the greens, all the grass and other green stuff. Num, 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 it will eat. And after it goes inside, she will sit in one place like this, meditating rather. And then she will bring out like that in her mouth and then she'll go. Have you seen that cow doing that? I mean, imagine an human being, is he doing that? Eating the greens and then regurgitating it out and the full day he is doing that. Do you see that doing? Then why are you eating all this nonsense? God has given you fire. You remember in the olden times, God gave me fire and the wheel. Two important discoveries in ancient times. Isn't it? God gave these two things to you. And yes, the fire was given to cook your food. Okay. And the second one was the wheel so that you can travel faster. So eat food in time. Don't go into. So this is called stupid knowledge. Alright? And this stupid knowledge is not there with people. It is supposed to be common knowledge. You understand? So here we are discussing about spiritual knowledge. And spiritual knowledge is beyond the reach of humankind. And that is why people don't understand. They get conned into all this yoga, toga and everything. And they think that that is spirituality. No. You remember what I said. Anything which leads you towards liberation, self-realization. Okay? That is becoming the Brahma. Going beyond. Or seeing God. Not the average J, small g. Okay? That is called small g is deity. He is not a God. Seeing the Almighty. These are the two things you should have in your mind. Bas. Beyond that, don't bother your head. If that classes of yours is giving you that destination, do it. It's exactly like when you're doing your graduation and you're doing your engineering, you're doing your MBA, I don't know all the other degrees that you're doing, PhDs and all that. There's one guy in New York, he's doing his third PhD. I don't know for what he's doing his third PhD, but he wants to get 3 PhDs against his name. So he should be called doctor, doctor, doctor. You know? Imagine, nice to hear. Doctor, 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 Mr. So-and-so. Ah, wow, sounds very nice. This is a specialist idiot. So, all these degrees, before you get them, think about what you want to do with your life. Are you interested in becoming a musician? Then why do you need a degree? If you want to specialize in some fancy music, then you should take up that, school somewhere. I read that they have some fancy school in USA for learning music. You can go learn over there. But I don't think Beethoven and all these great guys ever learned that. I don't know whether A.R. Rahman learned it from there. Or maybe, we had Lakshmikant Pyarelal, R.D. Burman and all these great, great people in music. I am not going to take the names of the new guys because I don't think they know music. Okay. So all these great people from the past, they never went to any college or anything to learn music. So whatever is your desire, to later on be, think about it. Why are you wasting 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, and 7 years becoming what you don't want to be? And wasting money in your life. You can start early in your life. That is common knowledge. Spiritual knowledge is what will take you beyond. So now we come to the subject. This is the knowledge which you got to have. You want to become a spiritual person. You want to get out of this life, cycle of birth and death. The knowledge is called Sankhya Yoga. Go learn it. Krishna says it is a little bit tough. Okay. So he says better to do the job rather than do all that. So in this particular verse, Krishna says Karma Yoga, action yoga is better than that. Why? Because this is simpler. Now you are a duffer, isn't it? Duffers don't have enough brains for doing the that yoga. That yoga was meant for the first yuga and the second yuga. Yuga, not yoga. Yuga. First yuga was the Krita. They were brainy characters. They must be having, the big brains. Like nowadays you see them in all the movies, people with big brains. Maybe they had big brains. And then the brain started shrinking, and now it must have been only so much. Knowledge is only so much. Specialized knowledge. So, people from Krita Yuga had the spiritual knowledge. People from the second Yuga, which is called the Treta, they also have knowledge. So, people could become Sankhya Yogis. But then, work came into the picture. Work. And when work came into the picture, work is easier done, isn't it? You just have to use your hands, legs, and all those things and do it. So Karma Yoga was the next thing. So he said Karma Yoga is easier to do, not intelligence. See, intelligence, you are still a duffer. So please, you understand this. And especially remember, he is talking to Arjuna. If Arjuna was an intelligent fellow, then he would not have made this war. Okay. 14 years ago, he could have done something really, straight. Huh? And he could have won the war then itself, taken all the territories and gone. He didn't know politics. See, if he knew politics, he would have been a winner then. Then all these wars would not have happened. But then, because he has come 14 years afterwards, gone to the jungles and all that, and now he's standing in front of Krishna, and Krishna has given him this answer. See, you are a doer. Do this. Don't bother about knowledge. Knowledge is a little bit difficult for you. Verse 3. Bhagavad Gita chapter 5. The Karma Yogi who neither hates nor desires should be considered a renunciant. For Arjuna, he who is free from the pair of opposite is easily liberated from bondage. Now, everybody here is a common man. Aam Aadmi. So, mango people they call it. Aam Aadmi. So, if everybody is a common man, you are supposed to only understand this verse from your perspective. Arjuna is being told, go and do the Karma Yoga. Okay? Why? When you do the Karma Yoga, don't hate anybody. Don't like anybody also. That means you got to have equanimity of mind. Just imagine, there is a ring, in one corner is Arjuna and the other corner is, Duryodhana. And both are wearing boxing gloves. And the bell is like, come on, let's fight. You villain! You will go and start doing that. You know that, no? You just imagine Arjuna standing in the ring with him. He would want to bash him up. But Karma Yoga says, no, you are not supposed to have hatred. Why? The other person in the ring is equally trying to beat you. You think that you are the only one who can beat him. The other person is also having the same qualities as you have. But if you are a karma yogi, you will not go with hatred. You will go with knowledge. You will go with techniques, isn't it? Not just hatred. Hatred is not going to take you anywhere. So, he neither hates nor desires. When you go and do something in this world, if you really are a karma yogi, then you should never do it with hatred. Understand this. There are many people in this world who are doing jobs because they have to do. Some people have joined some companies, some organizations, some place, somewhere. And the person says, I hate my job. I don't like it. Why are you there? I had no choice, you know. Oh, you had no choice. That is why you are there. You are the biggest idiot in the world. You think God gave you choice, is it? Think about it. It is the divine who has put you in that position. If he wanted you to join the army, then he would have sent you over there. Got the answer? If he wanted you to join the army and not join a company, he would have already programmed you for that job. Why do you think you are there in that position? It is because God wills it. Got the answer? You don't have to blame somebody for it. My father didn't give me money. That is why I just did, basic studies and I am doing this job. That is the way people speak. But that is not the truth. If God wanted you to do PhD, think about it. If God wanted you to do PhD, he would have made your track very easy, isn't it? Very simple. He would have sent you over there. If God wanted to make you into a singer, he would have given you the voice of a quail. Huh? Not a, croaking sound of a frog or something like that. Yeah, like that. Think about it. Everything is so programmed so nicely. And man thinks, that I don't want to do this. I hate this job. The job has come to you. Accept it. Accepting it is the most important thing. Then you will not hate it. We don't accept things. The first thing that we say to ourselves and to the world is, I should have got rich parents. We always rue where we come from, isn't it? We say, if I only wish my parents were very rich, I was born as this one's son or that one's son or that one's daughter. No. You have been given a specific family and a womb. You were born over there for a reason. Do you think you can accept it? Accept it. And don't keep on pointing out at things which are not going well. You are put in that position so that you can sort out the issues. To do your job without cribbing and to do it without expectation is called karma yoga. Got it? It's a simple thing. If you are a Kshatriya, if you are with your bow and arrow or with a gun, what is your job? Your job is to fight. Got the answer? If you have been given, one hammer and tongs, then you know what you're supposed to be doing. Yeah. If you have been given an apron, apron, which apron I'm talking about? The one which you wear in the kitchen. You know very well where you stand, isn't it? And if you are given that white color or the blue color apron, then you know you are going to cut people up. Huh? Be there in the hospital. Imagine having a steady, unsteady hand like this and becoming a doctor. I mean, just imagine doing like this and cutting somebody up. You don't even know which place you are cutting up. So you cannot be a doctor. So do you understand? All those guys who have become a surgeons, they have been given a very steady hand. Have you seen those people who do the firing range? Hmm? I'm sure you have seen all those people, police people or army people. You see the way they hold the gun and they fire it. If you give it to me, I will go right behind somewhere with a broken hand or something like that. But those people are good at it. Why God has given them that position? I hope you understood. Everybody is in the right place. They think they are in the wrong place. You are in the right place. So don't hate what you are doing. Whatever you are doing, start liking it. Liking doesn't mean actually, oh, yo, I love this job. Okay. I mean, imagine those guys in Wuhan now, or all those places selling dogs and cats and all those meat. Now they have started another pandemic with some dogs having some problems. I don't understand. And pigs having an issue. There's a new something which has come on H1N1. Some new strain has been developed in the pigs over there. And according to China, it's not going to spread, but who knows? So idea is that you have there in that place. This is what he says. Should never hate anything. Whatever job that you do it 100% immersed in it. And desire should not be there. I am doing this job because I want to become very famous in this world. Okay, just imagine. Or like, imagine Slash with all those hairs coming in front and back and everywhere. He's doing all the guitar playing and I want to become famous. I mean, just imagine somebody doing like that. So you also may grow your hairs and think that you are great Slash. It doesn't work like that. That guy is great because he has to be great. Okay. All right. So Elton John is Elton John for his reason. Don't go and compare yourself. So idea which I am telling you is you are specifically in a place for a reason. Start appreciating it and doing what you are supposed to do very religiously, diligently. That is called renunciation. I hope you got the word in. Huh? Renunciation means no expectation, doing the job diligently without hates and likes, and no desires whatsoever. So you do your job and don't bother where the salary is going to come from. Sometimes people do the job for the sake of the stomach. You know what they say? My pet ke liye kar raha hu. Means I am doing it for my stomach. Which means I have to feed myself. That is why I am doing this job. You got to pity this guy. First, he doesn't like what he is doing. He is doing it because he has to feed himself. So there is a desire in it. And if there is a desire in it, he is not a renunciate. He is purely a material worldly person going to come back again and again and again. Remember the two things that I told you. The ultimate destination is what? Either to be liberated, that is self-realized, or to meet God Almighty. Not the in-between gods. Got it? So if you are a renunciate, when you don't desire or you hate anything, you are doing your job diligently, then you are called a renunciate. For Arjuna, he who is free from the pair of opposite is easily liberated from bondage. I hope you remember those two words forever your lifetime. Liberation, self-realization, liberation, the knowledge of the self. Remember, that is number one. And number two is to meet God. Two things. If whichever class you are joining is not teaching you any of these things, don't go there, because it is not worth it. This, if you do, if you want to follow the path of liberation, you have been given a specific body for a specific purpose. That body will get used for that purpose, and you do your work diligently. You seen that guy Khali, the great Khali they call him? Huh? What was he good for? For all those wrestling things, he was doing. That's what he's good at. I was reading today about one guy who is exactly like Khali only. This guy is 62 years old and he is marrying a 24-year-old girl. Dolph Lundgren, I think his name is. I may not be pronouncing it properly, but he is the Hulk from some great movie, I think Aquaman and some other place. I think he was the villain or something in Aquaman. Okay, and he was there in some other movies also. This guy, 62-year-old guy, is marrying a 24-year-old girl. Sir, you are fit for showing your muscles and all that. Here he is talking about something else. I mean, think about it. His body has been made for that purpose. You see, if you are born already 6 foot 4 inches tall, you know very well you are as good as a ladder, no? And if you are 5 feet nothing, then you know you can't be a ladder also. It's a joke, okay? But understand this specific body has been given to you for specific purpose. Understand the purpose of it. So when I say don't do those courses, I really mean it. Because you will waste your money, time, energy. Your parents are going to get into trouble because they may have to sell their properties so that you can go to college. The kind of money that they spend, it's nonsense, I tell you. So understand what is it that you are good at. Early on in life, do your analysis and then just do what you're supposed to do. And don't bother about getting some fancy jobs in some IT companies and all that. That's not your calling. If it is not your calling, don't go there. If you are a computer geek, go there. I'm not saying you should not do your courses and stuff like that. Do it if you want. If that is what you want to do, you want to be born again and again. See, he said, no, a pair of opposites is easily liberated from bondage. If you are interested in bondage and you want to be born again and again, do what you want. But if you don't want to be born like that again, then understand right in the beginning, what are you made for? And then latch on to that and just go after it. But don't have the motivation, I want to make money, I want to become big, I want to become rich. That is called a desire. If you know music, if you know art, if you know singing, if you know dancing, do that because that is what you are good at. God has given you the ability to do that. And do it with love, absolute love. And don't bother where the money comes from and all that. God will definitely make everything available to you also. What makes you think that He is not going to take care of you? If He has already programmed you to become something, just do that. Got it? We'll move to verse 4. This is chapter 5, verse 4. The Bhagavad Gita, it is the ignorant, not the wise, who say that Sankhya Yoga and Karma Yoga lead to divergent results. For one who is firmly established in either gets the fruit of both, which is the same God realization. So here Krishna is telling Arjuna, see, you are a guy who does work. Okay? If I had to make you one Sadhu Baba Jayi, I would have made you already in the beginning. Imagine Arjuna sitting with one right, that thing on top of his head, wearing orange color clothes, one Rudraksha bead in his Hari Om, 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 and he's doing all that kind of thing, and no arrow and bow near him, okay? Krishna says, I would have already made you that. No. Why are you bothered about it? You have a bow, arrow, you have some nice good looks and all that. Of course, about 6 girls are going to fall for you. My sister also fell for you. What to do? See, the problem is that you're a handsome dude and you are a great warrior. Go fight the war. So, this is the job he's supposed to do. And then he says, if somebody tells you you should have become a yogi and then you could have reached the highest point, you're mistaken. What point he is going to reach and what point you are going to reach is the same. At the end of the day, you have to reach me only. You got the understanding? So whichever way you look at it, you are still finally you have to come to me. Okay. At that time, yeah, I'm going to wear fancy clothes. Okay. Just now I am just wearing some clothes for your purpose. But when I'm going to be sitting over there, I will see you over there differently. So, jokes apart here, the thing is, both the yogas, which is called the Sankhya Yoga or the Karma Yoga, both lead to the same destination. Don't bother about it. If you think that some yogi sitting in the Himalayas is doing Om, 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 he is going to reach that destination, but not you, that is wrong. His destination and your destination, while doing your material worldly work, whatever the job that you are being programmed to do, may be like a soldier, do that job diligently, focused in your life, and not bothered about whether you're going to win the war or not win the war. Your job is to fight, go fight. That's it. And both these lead to the same place. So only the ignorant people do not know this. They think that I should be doing that. Now I will translate it for all of you over here. See, in the material world, we are disillusioned by whatever we are doing. If you are working for a company or disillusioned, I hate this job. I don't like my boss. This is not a good job. I am only a chaiwala. People think like this. No. You are put in that place for a reason. Do your job diligently. Okay? What am I saying over here? Why do you think that there is some Babaji sitting over there who is going to give you a magic mantra and make you enlightened just like that? This is the disturbed way of looking at it. Disturbia. So you think somebody over there, look at him, the way he is, always in a state of bliss. Sir, if you were supposed to be in a state of bliss, you would have already been over there. Arjuna, don't think like that. You see, you are listening to my satsang, isn't it? If you had to become a Panditji, a Babaji, or all those kind of things, you would not be sitting here listening to my whatever that I am dishing out, right? You would be going to the Himalayas, maybe growing your long hairs like this Jatadhari and carrying one Trishul with you. Bam bam bole! And you would be dancing over there in the Himalayas. You think you will be sitting over here listening to my satsang? No. So you are a material worldly person. Understand this. I am not teaching Babajis over here. Especially people who think that they are going to become some Babajis in their life, growing hairs and putting jatas and putting one, I don't know, all those Rudraksha malas and all that. You are not a sannyasi. Don't bother yourself about it. You are anyway not going to go on that path. So you are sitting here listening to a satsang, that too in the modern era. We are listening through all the internet and this and that. Maybe you are seeing it on a phone. If you are supposed to be in the Himalayas, why do you think you are carrying your 5G phone? Now you're carrying no, I have got the latest 5G phone. Samsung, Okay, good for you. So if you are seeing it on your phone or your latest laptop or whichever place that you are seeing, you are not cut out to become some Babaji. Understand this right in the beginning. So don't even dare think of that path. That path is not meant for you. Forget it. You are not becoming a sannyasi. All right? Because those who come to me don't want to become sannyasi. First, they have to eat all the frugal rice and they have to go and beg outside. So they don't want to beg. They would rather have some nice, all those pastas, nastas, and all that. Okay. There. So it's okay by me. That's all right. You can be that material worldly person, but follow the karma yoga. Do the path which God has given you, and then there is no problem at all. You can be at home also, perfect. You can be staying with your wife, your children, your grandparents, God knows, whoever that you want to stay. Doesn't matter. You can be whatever that you are doing. You may be an artist. You know why I am telling you this? Look at this verse which he is telling. He is talking about Arjuna. And did he tell Arjuna become a sannyasi or what? Anywhere in this has he ever mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita you should become a sannyasi? Nowhere. He said whatever job you are doing, just do it diligently. It is my job to take you wherever I got to take you. Do it diligently, focus on your job, don't have likes and dislikes, and then I will take you where I got to take you. We are doing verse 5 now. This is chapter 5, verse 5. The supreme state which is reached by the Sankhya yogi is attained also by the Karma yogi. Therefore, he alone who sees Sankhya and the Karma yoga as identical as far as the result goes, see truly. So, whichever path that you wish to take, you want to go and become an Babaji over there and learn all those shlokas and this and that and the Vedas and the Shastras and keep on by-hearting them and pouring them out. Be my guest, you can become that. But Krishna is saying to Arjuna, I am not telling you to do any of those things. Just do your job. That's it. So, both that guy and you, who is a karma yogi, that means you are doing your job. Whatever job that you are doing. You may be working for a company. You may be a housewife. You may be cook, a cook somewhere, a chef or master chef. I should not say cook. Okay. A chef maybe. Yeah, you may be working in one small kitchen and still I have to call you a chef. Okay. This is the hypocrisy of the world today. A black cannot be called a black. A black has to be called colored. Good. So there is it. Job. If you are programmed for a job, you have to do the job. If you are going to cut my hair, barber, barber. No, you can't call them barbers. You have to call them hairstylist or something. I never understand what is it. You are a barber, end of the day. Okay. You are a butcher if you are cutting animals up. They will call it by some other name. It's not. So the funny part is, both these parts, whether you go and sit in the mountainside and do whatever you want to, reading all those fancy stuff, and maybe doing all the yogas possible, whatever yoga that you want to do, that and your path is going to take you to the same destination. So this is a clarity which you need to have. You are in the material world. Whatever job that you are doing, be happy in the job that you are doing. Don't hate the job. Don't say, I hate it. No. Do it nicely. Okay? And don't have desires of those kind, When you have a desire, you will get into anger. Because the desires which are unfulfilled will lead you to anger. God is the one who is drawing you to that place. Be happy, go along over there. Your path will be cleared. Finally, you will end up becoming a person who is liberated. See, he says the attainment is the same. What is the attainment? The supreme state. I told you. Supreme state means what? No death and no life after that. No rebirths. Got it? No rebirths. That is the supreme state. The state of Brahma. So whether you do Karma Yoga or whether you do Sankhya Yoga, both of you are going to reach the same place. Right? So if you see both these paths as identical, then there is nothing stopping you. You can go. Whichever path you want, you can take. The best is what you are doing is best. And if you are listening to my satsang, you know you are a karma yogi. So do your karma. All right. The answer in this is, when we are doing satsangs, you may try to understand, why is it that I need to do these satsangs? The reason why you have to do number one, first, you don't know where you are going. Okay? It is not about body management and mind management and all. Body, if you want to tone up your body, go to a gym. Ask Hrithik Roshan. He will tell you. Ask this, all those guys, what is their name? Arnold Schwarzenegger. I don't think Arnold does any yoga, toga and all that, isn't it? He goes to the gym, he lifts weights. And he does all kinds of body exercises. You want to be good in your body? That is the place. You want to good, you have a problem with your mind? I can tell you two people, psychologist and psychiatrist. Good people. Think about it. You should be able to control your mind. Desire should not be there. You see, this is Sankhya Yoga and Karma Yoga we are doing. In the Karma Yoga, what is Krishna saying? Desires is the root cause of all your misery, including the mind problem. That is what Buddha also said. Don't you remember? Buddha said the root cause of all the misery in the world is because of desires. And here, Krishna had already said these words even before Buddha came into existence. Buddha was expounding on the same philosophy. Don't have desires. Means, do your job without desires. You will anyway reach me. Why bother? So, the idea of doing the satsang. Number one is the two things which I discussed. To reach liberation or to reach God. That means you want to meet God, Almighty God, not the small gods that we talk about. No Ganesha and Saraswati and Brahmaji and Vishnu and Shiva. No, not those. The Almighty God, the supreme divine consciousness, the ulterior, the absolute one, that God. Or you want to become dissolved. That is the reason why knowledge of these things is important. Second, when you are learning these yogas, whether it is Sankhya Yoga or Karma Yoga, the person who is teaching you, okay, he is called the Guru. You know what his job is? His job is to show you how to reach that destination without incurring karma. You think you can understand this? He is the consultant. Okay? He will give you the best deal possible. You see, when you want to go and buy certain things, there are in between people, if you're getting married also, there are those marriage something, they arrange for all the stuff. The cake and all that, wedding planner. They are consultants, no? So exactly, I am a consultant as far as reaching the destination is concerned. Okay, you have brought the ticket, no? Now you need a visa from me. Okay, so going to that place, you should know the rules and regulations, how to reach there. That is the reason why these lessons are being given. And why do you think Arjuna is asking Krishna these questions? Because Krishna is giving the answer to Arjuna how to achieve Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga as a subject looks very simple. You see, if you have spent 6 years or 4 years doing engineering and 5 years doing your medical, this is a subject higher than that. Okay? No PhDs after that. No MBBS after that. Okay? But yeah, no degrees without degree. You will go beyond. So understand, this is the reason why satsangs are important. So that you can reach your destination tax-free. Yeah, no taxes. You don't have to come back again, not to pay taxes. Nothing like that. So you are free from rebirths, and techniques are being given to you, and these techniques will be told to you in the next coming few days. All right, so we will stop over here. We have reached verse 5, chapter 5. Next time, next Tuesday, we will do from verse 6 onwards. Take care. Have a very great day. Bye.